Thanksgiving.
We're all turkeyed out already.
Well, we're kind of out turkeyed because we didn't have any turkey.
That's what I meant.
Being vegetarians. Well, happy Thanksgiving anyway. Definitely got stuffed. You got the stuff? I got stuffed, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I never should have ate that much.
I know. We were talking about that and saying that, Thanksgiving should be like a week long because that way, you just can't have it all, contrary to what our mother thought.
Yeah. She tried to cook it all, boy. We had some of everything.
Let's see, what did it look like? It looked like turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes, sweet
Stuffing.
potatoes, stuffing, uh,
Turnips.
turnips, turnips, and green bean casserole.
I don't remember green bean casserole as a
Oh,
kid.
I do. Oh
Not
my
one of my
God.
favorite Thanksgiving
Love
meals.
it. That's why you don't remember it. And we had to have stuffed dates and we had
We
to
had
have
cranberries.
tangerines and 8 pies.
One of each. Whatever your choice
At
is.
least 7. So that way, if we had Thanksgiving, for a week, there, how many pies? Which ones would you make? 7 pies?
Well, Mom was pretty creative about making leftovers that seemed like meals,
Oh, yeah.
You put them with a little bit of something different and you just heated it up and put it on the table, and everybody felt like it was Thanksgiving all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of do
It's a turkey
miss.
sandwich thing, though.
That's
It's always the
what
best.
I would.
Turkey sandwich.
Just what I was gonna say. Nothing like taking some bread, putting on it some bread,
Some piece of poor turkey,
turkey,
a little bit of cranberry,
cranberry,
and mayonnaise.
and mayonnaise.
You
Man,
got it.
good old turkey sandwich.
Make it about that thick.
Yeah, yeah. Those were the days. That is one piece that I miss, and I do use fake turkey. So
And it was quite good this year, the fake turkey.
yeah, well, good. Yeah, mine was called. Now don't go sticking your nose up. Okay, if you haven't tried it, you don't know. Thanksgiving tempeh.
Wow.
So, and the recipe actually told you to take the tempeh, which it's only about that big. That's 4 servings is only about that big and about that thick. But you marinate it and then you wrap it in strips of thinly
Bacon.
shaved.
Bacon.
No bacon. Butternut squash.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that because I didn't have a large butternut squash to do it with. So, but it was very, very good, and it had gravy. We made gravy, vegetarian gravy, and so I had a nice meal.
My son-in-law discovered a vegetarian gravy. I wish I remembered the name of it. Sorry, we'll do it again another day. And all it is when you open the container, it comes in a tin, like hot cocoa or something, and you take the lid off. It's like a powder inside, and you just mix it with boiling water. It
Yeah,
makes
that was
really
actually
good
that was
gravy.
that was about the long and short of what my gravy was like. Only you cook it for a whole minute. So mine was home cooked.
It costs more money too, I'll
Yeah,
bet you.
I was just gonna say, well, we didn't tell them about it this year, so there's always next year. But that's why we're doing these videos. There isn't always next year.
It's cold this year on Thanksgiving. Very cold. Got my little mitts on because my hands get really cold in the regular weather. This chilly weather gets to me too much.
It does. So, and as you all, our family and friends, and you know what we didn't say? Uh, this is Legacy of Love and Laughter. It is what Valerie and I are doing to share our family stories and so that our future generations get to know who we were. Imagine if your grandmother or great grandmother were to, if you could talk to them. So our great grands down the road will not be able to know that, but our kids will be able to look back at another view of us. And
I think it's passing it on is such a good idea because there are questions I would love to ask my grandmother or great grandmother, even better still, but we'll never know. If you ever have a question, figure out a way to get a hold of us. We can answer your questions. now while we're here.
That's right. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you think there's anything you'd like to share. Or any questions you'd like to ask your great grandmother, grandmother in the future, kind of thing. Or if you don't have your grandparents, because we like to do that. So, okay, now we're back to where we are. Valerie's year of first. Valerie and her family, it's the year of first since Donald passed away in June. And so, how was it getting through this Thanksgiving?
I was looking at photo albums today, and it made me a little sad, but there's something about it. It made me feel closer. Brought back some pretty good memories. Some painful times because I won't get to do it again. It'll be different every year, and I you find a way to get through it. If it's better to sit and look at them, do it. I mean,
Yeah,
because some your conscience is telling you to do it for a reason. We had some great holidays, and I mean, first thing in the morning we'd be up and we'd be trying to get the turkey in the oven and everything done. And Donald would be off with his hunting. He would go hunting every Thanksgiving, and most of the time he didn't bring home anything on Thanksgiving, and I was so grateful because it was always a good day. I don't want it to be a bad day for
the
a
deer
deer
won.
or something like that. So I was when he came home and he said, "I'm sorry, I didn't get anything." That was pretty cool for me. And Mark won for the deer.
That's right.
But
That's it.
I'm making a lot of progress and making a lot of changes and hoping to um, make things different at home, but the same. And nothing major is going to change, but I'll get so I can use my own house in different ways. Changing my dining room, which we don't have, didn't have a big Thanksgiving there this year. Just Suzette and Ron made me a beautiful dinner, and we enjoyed it very much. But ordinarily we had 20 people in the dining room, and that's what I was used to. So this was a year. Last year we had less, and the year before we had a little less, and then now this year it was just the four of us, three of us. I can't even count good, but it's different. But the memories are still there, and I think he'd want for us to be happy and to be remembering the good stuff.
Yeah. And the one thing we were talking about today, and it was like, duh, it's very to have those pictures because the pictures help us not only remember that it was, but how it was. It brings back those little intricacies of special things that happened each Thanksgiving, you know?
It does, and I mean, it was very hard. I wish I had pictures. I wish she had pictures. I wish we, but this was
Pictures
not a
to
good.
show you.
Yeah,
We
to
have
show you.
them, we don't can't show
We
them.
have to get them in a way that we can show you. In other words, holding it up and saying, "Look at this." It's hard enough when you look at some of the pictures and you got the picture in your hand, but to try and hold it up to a screen. So we'll just do better for next year. We'll
That's
have a
right.
whole year to plan Thanksgiving.
That's
It's a
right.
kind of a holiday that a lot of people forget, and it's
Yeah.
just too darn bad because a lot of memories are made at Thanksgiving time.
They are. They are. And so we were like, we forgot to take pictures yesterday. My Thanksgiving was basically me. And like Valerie, we're used to big, everybody in the family. Well, I could only do that if I could reach out to Kansas, Missouri, Colorado, Utah, Florida, New York, to have a Thanksgiving together. But through the blessing of technology, Mimi and I shared Thanksgiving dinner via Zoom. So we did have our Thanksgiving dinner, and we're very grateful for
One of
that.
those modern conveniences that
A modern
really
convenience.
keeps you
It'll
in touch.
yeah, it'll never make up for a hug, but it's good that we can have it anyway.
I had a little bit of family with me, at least with Suzette and Ron, and Kimberly popped in and everything. But I had my surgery the day before Thanksgiving. I had cataract surgery, and I was scared to death. Of course, you just hear about. Sounds kind of gruesome. It's been very successful. I feel pretty good. But in the middle of this, I may just put my dark glasses on because it's getting a little harder to see the screen. But that's going to be straightened right out, and then I get the other one done just before Christmas. So that'll
Just
make for a happy
both
Christmas.
holidays. It'll hit you for both
I
holidays.
know they don't want to miss a trick.
But those days when we had all the big things going on, there was a lot of stress, especially if we were in my mother's house. I don't remember doing a lot to help mom. Do you remember doing a lot?
Yeah, stayed out of the kitchen.
Stay down, get out of our way.
Unless you wanted to grate or peel something.
Yeah, hide.
That's right.
No, we tried to give her free reign. Of course, then there was the Thanksgiving. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember it, but electric knives came out,
Yeah.
and so they got out the electric knife, the brand new electric knife that they got for Thanksgiving, and Daddy went about to carve the turkey and carved his finger.
It really wasn't that funny.
It wasn't that funny then, but we just cut off the bloody parts and got rid of them and enjoyed the heck out of that turkey. He didn't need stitches or anything.
No, it was just learning how to maneuver something that was shaking in your hand so hard. It's really, he had shaky hands to start with.
He did, he
Put it near the
did,
turkey, and it was like really.
he did. So Thanksgiving's changed so much. It went from not as many people nowadays have big Thanksgiving dinners,
It was
and
wonderful.
yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, but that's just it. Just because it's not the way it used to be doesn't mean it can't be good. And I actually had so sorry, excuse me. A lot of people have gone to doing what is called Friendsgiving. And to me, there is no replacement for family at Thanksgiving. That's the absolute best. And I still had Friendsgiving a few days ago with a couple of my friends who came over, and we shared a great dinner and a visit and a movie, and it was really good. But all in all, many people do Friendsgiving now and not even Thanksgiving. Things have changed drastically since the days that we would have the whole family over.
Family get-togethers of all kind have changed a lot. The sentimentality is totally different. Uh, there was an obligation before to go and be with the family. Now everything's different. I mean, they want to be with their friends. They want to go on a trip. They want to be out of state. They want to any number of things. But Thanksgiving is just a day, as far as they're concerned. But
That's sad.
it's like Thanksgiving is one of the lost holidays. People don't think about it anymore. I mean, it's like, well, heck, they just go from Halloween, which is a big deal nowadays, to Christmas.
$6 billion big deal.
Thanksgiving is just gone, and Thanksgiving has so much meaning. I feel very bad that it's not the same as it used to be. I like Thanksgiving when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I like to eat.
I think we lose because, instead of being thankful for what we've got, a lot of people are looking for what they're going to get next. What are we going to get next? Um, Speaking of which, I do have a book which you can find on Amazon called Rise of the False Gods, and it's about how money, the two false gods are Mammon and Baal. Mammon is materialism, money stuff, and then Baal is ego, carnal nature, power. So we got money and power, and that's what happened to Thanksgiving. Is that Thanksgiving they couldn't get you to give everybody a gift, so they really focused on, okay, we're gonna think about what we're gonna give for Christmas.
And tomorrow you got
And
Black Friday. You can just jump in there and spend a little bit more.
yeah, and we actually did some research on Black Friday, and we found out that of course, it was initially named Black Friday for in the late 1800s. There was a stock market crash, and then in the 1980s is when it switched from uh, having, let's see, what would happen after Thanksgiving would be the stores. They'd turn on the lights on the Christmas trees in town, and that'd be on Thanksgiving night. And then the next day, all of the stores would display. Now, note that I'm saying display. They would display their holiday goods, their windows. We waited for those windows to be unveiled, and they were beautiful. And you know what? They didn't have a lot of sales. but the people still went. And actually, I think the shop owners made more money because they
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
have to put everything at these, crush your neighbor things. In the 80s, that Black Friday started being to be the big grab. And that's when people started to get hurt. And they offered insane specials. And it was gimme, gimme, gimme. To me, that is the false god Baal just raking it in. And that is unfortunate, you know.
Yeah. I mean, before it used to be like when you're kids, you spend almost a month drawing pictures of what it is you want or cutting ads out of an old newspaper or something, what you'd like to get for Christmas.
Montgomery Ward.
But usually it was like you featured one thing. I wanted, in the worst way, I wanted to have the John Nagy art kit. And I that's what I wanted. I mean, I couldn't think of anything better. I only got one last year for my little sister. What a treat that was. But kids aren't like that anymore. You ask them what they wanted when they were 8 years old or 10 years old. Now that they're 18 years old, they aren't going to be able to tell you unless it was a new phone, because you could always use a new phone. Everybody should have a new phone, don't you think? Never
I
mind color crayons and paper.
It's kind of embarrassing for me, but two of my favorite gifts when I was about 11 or 12, I asked for a case of 7 Up just for me. This will probably come out at Christmas. We somehow jumped to Christmas, didn't we?
I know. I'm sorry about that. That was my
It
fault.
was her fault. It's always her fault.
It started out being
So
things.
I'm going to back up. I'm going to go back up, and we can do Christmas later. And we also already had Christmas videos from last year that we're going to have to watch to make sure we try not to do too many repeats this year. Anyway, I remember fourth grade assembly, and we would get together, and that year we gathered together, which some of you probably know, and if you don't, you should go look it up.
It's a nice song.
Yes.
A lot of churches still use it.
That's right. We also, outside of school, or no, we did it in school too, we sang a song we're going to sing for you.
I don't know if I remember the words.
Yes, you do.
I remember part of it.
Here. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
The turkey sat on the backyard fence and he sang his sad, sad song. Thanksgiving Day is coming, gobble, 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 and I know I'll soon be gone. Is that grim or what?
She's got a much
We
better
just
memory than
didn't
me.
think
She
about
just,
that. We just sang that
I'll have
song
to
and then we
practice it for next
went and
Thanksgiving.
ate the damn turkey. How sad, how sad, how sad. But there was more meaning, and we also it was the first time I ever had Indian pudding. And back in those days, all the pilgrims were so wonderful and invited the Indians to come to this big feast, this celebration of the harvest, and yet they were the bad guys. They were always the bad guys. Think about it and do a little history, and you'll see that wasn't the case at all. But that didn't mean that it wasn't a good thing. But so I made Indian pudding. Valerie and I are going to have some when this is over. A lot of places, a lot of families, one of the things they're mostly worried about, this has been for probably the past 7 or 8, 10 years, was families getting together for the holidays and fighting over politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never had that.
No.
We never had that. We didn't have it,
We had a couple relatives that would fight about the football game.
We didn't do that either.
Uncle Walter did, boy.
If anyone wanted to want to watch the game, you go in the other room and watch the game.
That's right.
And don't bother
Make
us.
as much noise as you like.
That's right. That's right. And the one thing that was critical to our Thanksgivings is that we had to have too much food.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that why you got together?
It took me, I'm 78 years old, and it took me until like 5 years ago to realize one of my big issues was stuffing.
Stuffing yourself.
Yeah, but I love stuffing so much.
I love stuffing too.
And you know what though? It expands. And
you have stuffing and then a big glass of water.
I went to my friend Kim's house one year for Thanksgiving. We're a combination. And I had to go for a walk. I had to go for a walk after we ate because I thought I was going to blow up. I really did. Back when we were young adults, one of my favorite things about Thanksgiving was we attended St. Bridget's Roman Catholic Church those days. Well, she still does. I am Unity, but we would have an ecumenical service. They would invite all the local churches. They'd all get together and come to the church, and I was so thrilled because it didn't matter. You can be Jewish, you can be Muslim, you can be anything. Not that we had any Muslims in town, just saying.
We don't know that.
But we don't know that because
We
a lot of
don't know
times they
that.
wouldn't tell you because it'd be
We
sad.
wouldn't. We don't ask.
That's right. But it was a wonderful service when people of all faiths came together at our church, and we had donuts after. Do you remember that, my children, if you're watching this? Because there was no problem getting the kids to church on that day because they knew those donuts were going to be waiting for them. We already talked about Don going hunting, the value of photos, Black Friday, Thanksgiving should be a week long. Oh, and did we already say this? I think I'm losing my mind. Have you seen it anywhere?
We'll see where you might know.
60 years ago.
Would you like to borrow my dark glasses?
I'm just gonna help. 60. It's hard to believe it was 60 years ago. John F. Kennedy was killed just
One of the saddest days I remember.
5 days
so
before
sad.
Thanksgiving, and it was sad. Most people that were old enough to remember anything remember where they were, what they were doing, what they were wearing, and what they did after. What do you remember?
I remember. I'm pretty sure I was pregnant, and I was shopping at a small mall, like sort of like the mall we have here in Moodus, with a pharmacy and a 5 and 10 or a little diner or something, whatever. And I had one baby with me and Carrie in the other one, and we were coming through the parking lot, and they had it on the speaker system. I thought it had to be, they had to be wrong. It just, nobody had ever killed John F. Kennedy. He was wonderful. I know a lot of people nowadays, especially, wouldn't agree with me. Whatever they heard, whatever went on, I lived through the part of it I lived through, and he was a wonderful man. I really liked, and I was the first man I ever voted for. So I was devastated when he got shot. It was horrible for me. What about you?
Well, they wouldn't say right off he was dead. They said he was shot. And so I was walking down the stairs from the kitchen down. We had a den. Dens were what you did in the basement where you painted the walls. Remember, our downstairs had pink walls.
Yeah, Mom was a real.
Yeah, and Mom
Color
was sitting in her little recliner, and she was watching TV, and I was going downstairs because I loved Oh Susanna. It was this story about a sitcom about a lady who was I guess she was an activities director on a cruise ship. And I had a great love of cruise ships, always did. Until I found out they're so ecologically unsound. So anyway, I was halfway down the stairs. I could practically tell you the step I was on. I was wearing a little tweed, unattractive skirt with a white blouse and a vest. And when I heard it, I went out, got in my car, and I went to church to pray. And I believe that was the day when the whole thing, I couldn't believe it. And at one point, I don't remember if it was before or after the Pope had been shot. I did the same thing. I went to church, and I thought, why did I have to be alive now?
Yeah,
You know,
they're picking out all the good people.
yeah.
Why is that? What is the matter with everybody?
Well, I think that for his message, I'm not getting political. Okay, I'm not. This is
No.
not about an argument. This is about a comment that I found.
It's about your
meaningful.
personal feelings, how it affected you.
Yeah.
Nobody else, and everybody else. When I went to Middlesex College for a little while, well after Kennedy was assassinated, and I happened to be sitting in the lounge waiting for my next class, and there was a class of young men and women that came in for their soda break or whatever they came in for. They were talking about the class they had just attended and what an animal Kennedy was, and how thoughtless he was, and how greedy he was, and the bad things that he did. And of course, my heart was broken because I voted for him, and he was the only president I could listen to on TV and agree with a little bit and understand what he was saying. And if he didn't know the right answer, he'd say, "I'll check on that and I'll get back
Yeah,
to you."
best
And he
answer.
did.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the most important things for me, what I can't believe is how being undereducated or it's uh, there's so many lies out there, and it's really important to know what you're talking about.
Don't
You know,
listen to
there's
just
that thing.
everything.
It says sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut and have people think you the fool than open it and let them know
Let
you
him know you
are.
are. Yeah.
That's true. But what Joe Biden said about Thanksgiving at his Thanksgiving address, he said, "We must come back together. We must learn to live together, to love each other, to be kind, and to have respect. Doesn't matter what party you belong to. Those are powerful, positive words." Agreed?
I'd rather have the world be like that, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was a different place, and we know it was because we were there.
There. We absolutely were. And sometimes even when you're young and you don't know what you're listening to, it's sinking in. And our parents never discussed politics that I recall. They'd go to vote, but I don't remember them ever having any, conversations about it. I know that in my father's family, my grandmother was Democrat, my grandfather was Republican. Neither one of them could understand why the other one was this or that. But you know what? They
They
lived
didn't
together and they
fight.
did fine. They did just fine. My grandmother still cooked and my grandfather still went to work. So
Yeah.
it was
And
all good.
the bottom line is we're celebrating Thanksgiving, and we have so much to give thanks for. Even with the losses we've suffered, even with all the challenges, even when our families don't get together or don't get along, um, love first. Love
And I'll
first.
tell you, with all the well wishes and the cards and the masses and everything that I've gotten from people I know real well, people I don't know hardly at all, people that have just heard of me and Donald have sent me their wishes, and it's I could cry right now. It's been kind of tough in a way, but when I open that box and it's a big box full of cards and I'm so sorry and you're going to be all right, and I think I will, but it's because of all of you people who were there for me when he decided that it was time to go.
Yeah, yeah. So, what do you got to be thankful for today? And you know the best way to show how thankful you are?
Have Indian pudding. I don't know.
We're going to have Indian pudding. Get that Indian pudding
I
going.
gotta take these off because now my eyes are real blurry. Sorry.
We're going to have Indian pudding. That I put a little bit of nuts in the recipe. If you need the recipe, just let me know. I'll be happy to get it for you. I forgot.
This is the real thing.
This is the real thing. I put in a bunch of walnuts and a little bit of Southern Comfort. So it's going to be good. Best thing to show how thankful you are is to be good to others and give them something to be thankful for. So here it comes. Here it comes. Do, 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 do.
Turkey set on the backyard fence.
So we're going to celebrate and respect and give thanks for the indigenous people. This is indigenous people pudding.
Yes, right.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We're going to dig in. Mmm. Good.
We did it again. Mm-mm.